Hi, we're here today with Bob Otten from WDI Homes, the Hudson Valley's premier real estate solutions company. And Bob is here today to talk to us about how we can stop foreclosure in its tracks. I know this is an issue that is affecting a lot of Americans today, so I'm sure this information is going to be very helpful. Let's get started, and thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
So tell us about the first way that people can stop foreclosures, bringing their current loan current.
Yeah, well, quite frankly, that's it. You know, it's just that simple. You're going to write a check to bring current any back payments you have with the bank. Now, unfortunately, this situation doesn't apply for a lot of people in foreclosure. I mean, they're in foreclosure because of some financial hardship. But if you do have some money in savings, or you can borrow from a friend or family member, and your current situation is just a temporary speed bump in your financial situation, then this is a good option to look at.
So this is probably the easiest way, but it's not possible for a lot of people. They may just
Unfortunately
not
not.
have the money.
Yeah.
The second one and third one, I get confused. So I'm hoping you can help distinguish between the two, forbearance and loan modification.
Sure. Well, they have certain similarities, so I can understand your confusion. But in forbearance, we're talking about a formal written agreement between the bank and you, okay? And what the bank is willing to agree to in this forbearance situation is take any back payments, all right, and chop them up so that you're paying a small portion of those back payments with each subsequent mortgage payment over a finite period of time. They'll give you, say, 4 or 6 months to make up those arrearages, and then the expectation is that you will pay on the mortgage in full each and every month thereafter.
So it's put in writing, and it helps if you've already gotten behind to catch up.
That's right.
I see. Now what about loan modification?
Well, in loan modification, the bank is actually renegotiating the terms of the mortgage. And this is a really hot topic and term we hear these days. And the new administration's Hope for Homeowners policy is designed to have banks modify their loans to accommodate people. Now, many folks, wrote or had mortgages written that were adjustable rate mortgages that reset at higher interest rates, and they found themselves unable to pay the mortgage.
It caused a lot of surprises for people when their
It
mortgage
sure did.
payments increased a few $100s.
This was the basis of the meltdown, the subprime meltdown that we had. And so now the bank is willing to look at lowering the interest rate to a fixed number, okay, on a new 30-year term, and hopefully that reduction in monthly amount will make it affordable for the homeowner. If that doesn't work, they'll consider extending the term of the loan from 30 out to 40 years,
which is another way to
further lowering the amount.
But that would reset the mortgage to the beginning, so you're paying all interest again?
Well, especially on a 40-year, mortgage amortization, you're talking about interest only for a significant amount of time.
That's probably tough for someone who's 15 years into a mortgage and making a lot of headway.
Yes.
But it may be the only solution for somebody at this point.
If you really want to stay in the house, it's an option worth looking at.
Now, what about just selling the house? Can you find a cash buyer? Are there any buyers out there?
Well, there are. They're not as easy to find, of course, but someone like myself, an investor who either has cash or access to funding on an immediate basis, can be helpful. But you have to understand that a person that's bringing all cash to the table to simplify and speed up the transaction is looking for a value, a good value. So in this instance, it's helpful to have equity in the home. And that's to say, if the house is worth $200,000 and you have a $150,000 mortgage, you have...
Oh, you have $50,000 in equity.
Right. So that equity will provide a cushion to absorb any of those back payments, okay, and still provide a value to the cash buyer where they know that what they're purchasing is still below market value, a good value to them.
So the homeowner would have to be willing to let the home go at below retail.
Well, this is a sale, and they are going to lose the home. But if stops a foreclosure, they don't have a foreclosure judgment against them.
Now, what about someone in the opposite situation? Let's say house values have decreased tremendously in the last couple of years, and a lot of people are finding themselves with a mortgage that's higher than what the value of the home actually is.
That's
Now that's where your specialty might come in, a short sale.
Right. Well, I'm a professional negotiator and I specialize in short sales. You've heard the term upside down or underwater, right? And this is describing a situation where the mortgage amount is greater than the current value of the house. And in those circumstances, a short sale might be the only viable alternative for getting out of a foreclosure situation. And this is where a third party comes in and enters into a contract with the homeowner to purchase the property for less than what's owed on the mortgage. Now, there's an important caveat to that. The bank who holds the mortgage and has the property as collateral securing that mortgage has to agree to it.
So the bank has to have the final say whether they're willing to take less than what's on the mortgage.
That's right. But if it's a good offer, this can be a very good fit for everybody. It provides a satisfaction of mortgage. The bank is accepting as payment in full the short sale amount. And if you have a good and ethical and thorough short sale negotiator, they'll be sure to get the homeowner a release from deficiency balance between the short sale amount and what remains on the mortgage.
So they would not be held responsible for the balance that remains.
They'll walk away
I
from
understand.
the debt.
Now, can anyone just call the bank and say, I want to negotiate a short sale?
On their own mortgage?
Yeah.
No, it's not going to happen that way. Unfortunately, you cannot negotiate your own short sale. It does require a third party who's going to come in and cash the bank out, okay? And that person needs to be skillful and well-trained in the art form of conducting a short sale.
Now, does it cost the homeowner anything to hire a short sale negotiator?
No, it shouldn't. And if someone is telling you that they require a fee for a short sale, I would find somebody else.
I see.
This is a transaction between three parties: a buyer, the short sale buyer, the owner of the property, and the bank. There is no cost to the homeowner.
I understand. And the last way that you talk about is bankruptcy. How can that help someone in foreclosure? I know we hear that word on the radio and TV every day.
Yes. Well, there's a few myths about bankruptcy and foreclosure that I want to dispel here. Bankruptcy will not stop a foreclosure. It will, however, slow it down, and can slow it down considerably. Okay? If you're looking at an impending foreclosure auction date, like within the next week or few days, a bankruptcy is a prudent thing to do to just stop that. Okay? And then what happens is the mortgage, the bank, as one of your creditors, is presented to the bankruptcy court, and a judge and trustee look at all the creditors and try to figure out a reasonable solution to getting them as much money as possible. Now the bank, because their debt is secured by the property, is going to ask the bankruptcy court for a release from stay of that foreclosure so that they can liquidate the asset and get their money back. Eventually that will happen.
So it just buys some time. If your house is about to be auctioned and you need a little more time,
yes,
it will stop the process.
And it provides for cool heads and good decision making.
So that sounds like a good last minute method.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Bob. We really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge and information with us. We'd like to find out how people can get a copy of this special report that you've written, How to Stop Foreclosure in Its Tracks. Tell people where they can go online to get this.
Sure. Our web address is www.stopforeclosurehudsonvalleyny.info.
Great. And what about if someone wanted to call you to speak with you or use your short sale services? How
Sure.
can they reach you?
Very simply, just call our office at 877-235-2123.
Would you mind repeating that one more time?
Sure. 877-235-2123.
Well, Bob, thank you so much for being here. I hope that information is helpful. I know there's so many people in this country that really are having challenges, and I'm sure that it will help someone.
We hope so too.